Good morning everyone, welcome to a new video. I'm so organised. I've just finished editing and exporting the video for this week coming, so this is going to be the following week, so I'm so happy. I'm so organised and I'm taking you along for every fun day out. Sometimes I'll go out and I'll be doing something really good and be like, oh, I wish I videoed this. So I'm glad that I'm not missing a beat, which is a lovely feeling, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Most importantly, we went to the Daylesford Christmas fair yesterday and it was beautiful, and then today we are going to go to Burford Garden Company and it's going to be like a Christmas grotto in there, so I'm so excited to take you guys along. I'm going to go downstairs now, make sure Etta's got some lunch. We're going to hop in the car. It's me, Maeve, my mum and Etta, and we're just going to have the most gorgeous day, but she's shouting me, so I'm going to go down and I will see you guys there. It was meant to be me making spaghetti bolognese with you guys, but I've got to go because Whiskey has jumped over the wall, and I'll catch up with you in the car because we are heading out somewhere special. I've said this before, that Whiskey, one of my spaniels, likes to jump over the Cotswold stone wall around our garden. It's huge and I don't know how she does it whenever she does it, but it's part of the reason why we want to move, because it's just not friendly to the dogs. It's just not, but also there's no way for me to fix it because the way the drop is on the other side, I can't put up posts and chicken wire, for example, which would work and would fix the problem. I can't do that. It doesn't have the correct kind of level. Anyway, it's confusing, but it is what it is. So I just jumped over the wall, and then I definitely would have ripped my jeans at some point, because then I had to climb through the chicken wire. Anyway, basically had to go on a bit of a safari and then run across the field, which has got livestock in it. It's got cows, and that in itself is dangerous for two reasons. First of all, in case Etta was inside safely with my mum, in case Whiskey got hurt from one of the cows, she hurt one of the cows, or just simply the farmer. If your dog is caught in a field with livestock without permission, a farmer is actually allowed to shoot your dog, so that's another risk as well. So I literally had to chase her, but not chase her so that it feel like it was a game and run around. I had to chase her in the sense of creep up on her, entice her, just try and get my hands on her. So I luckily had taken the dog food with me, and then I finally got her after about 20 minutes of trying, and I could see her in the distance, and it was the most frustrating thing, because also you're aware if something happens in that distance that you'll watch it all happen, so you're also aware that you've got the perfect view to watch an accident happen. It was just incredibly stressful. So yeah, I finally caught her, but then there was no way of me getting back round because they didn't take a dog lead. So I was holding her collar against the floor, and there would have been no way for me to get her and I both back through the chicken wire without getting hurt. So I had to walk all the way around the village, basically via the field. And there's this place called the Wells in Stowe, and we came out by the Wells, and then there was a padlocked gate. So I had to climb over the gate, but I couldn't get Whiskey over, and I couldn't hold her because she's very big, and the dog food, and get over. And then I man saw me and kindly came over to try and take Whiskey off me, and Whiskey, I've never seen anything like it. She was like, get off me, like she was obviously terrified. And I hate myself for putting her in that situation, but then again I didn't, did I? But the kind man had tried to help me. I think she probably scratched him. She didn't bite him or anything, but she was like, get off me, like she was doing everything her body could do to get him away from her. Anyway, then she jumped out his arms, up the wells, and then it's the road. So then she was running up the road, and I kept saying stop, stop to all the cars that were coming, because she looks like a fox as well. Like she is literally a fox, the exact same physique, the exact same size, the exact same colour. Then I basically had to like almost crawl along the road with dog food, and eventually she kind of ran round this kind of alleyway, and then she got scared, and then she came to me, and then I carried her home. And yes, she had definitely rolled in not even just fox poo, cow poo, horse poo, all sorts of poo. She was having the time of her life. So I've just quickly taken my jumper off and changed my jumper and put that for wash, as well as my shoes, because I was in Uggs. If you can imagine trolling through poo in Uggs, that's what I just did. So anyway, I've quickly changed it. I haven't been able to change my jeans, which will smell. And my hair, I definitely got poo in my hair, so that's delicious. There's nothing like country life, is there? But no, anyway, she is inside, she's safe. I need to give her a huge scrub later because she stinks to high heaven, but she's just in the house now. I've closed all the doors. She's such a monkey as well. She went straight up to my bedroom, got on my bed. I was like, ouch. So I don't have to wash my sheets, as well as my dog. But the reason why this is like 10 times more intense is because this week, I haven't told you guys yet, but Etta has been in hospital. We spent the night in hospital the other day. I said to you that she had temperature. The GP said at first that she has tonsillitis, but not enough to give her antibiotics. Then it continued to get worse, and then her temperature shot up. Even it was already elevated, but it shot up, and the GP said, oh, it could be whooping cough, and she's been vaccinated for that. So I was like, strange. And he said, well, it doesn't always cover. So that's also interesting about vaccinations, like it really just doesn't. He wasn't surprised for her to have it, so therefore it shows how much they're not surprised if the vaccinations don't work. I don't know. So then whooping cough, and that's highly contagious and very intense. And so he said, right, I'm not 100% sure, but because she's vomiting and high temperature and a really bad cough, it kind of links to whooping cough. And I was like, right. And then he said, I'll give her antibiotics. So we went to get the antibiotics. Anything I tried to give her, if I even got a little bit of anything in her mouth, whether it's Calpol, ibuprofen, antibiotics, food, water, milk, she was just vomiting. And I could just see the weight dropping off her. It's the most traumatizing thing to see, your child losing weight like that, and obviously not eating it. It got to the point where it was like maybe 2 days and she hadn't eaten anything. So then her temperature continued to go up, and it got over 39, kind of 39.5. And I was like, actually, it was my parents on the phone. They were like, Tess, just go to hospital. Because I was obviously on the phone to 111 and the GP, etc. And they were like, just watch her, keep doing what you're doing. And then my mum was like, no, just get to hospital, because then you're there. If something goes wrong, you're there. And we got there and they were very, very concerned. They then said the right side of her chest is much louder than the left. That will perhaps tell us that there is a bacterial chest infection, and her right side was really not doing what it needed to be doing. Brand new antibiotics were given to us. We were put into a room in case it was still whooping cough, because obviously everyone's guessing here. And part of the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I just want to say that everyone who works for the NHS, every doctor, every GP has their own opinion. You know, they've all had the same education, I'm guessing, but they all have their own opinion, and it's important to not take what one person says as gospel. Your intuition, your gut instincts have got to come into it too. But everyone literally that I spoke to had a completely different opinion of what they thought was wrong with Etta. So it was incredibly confusing and hard to trust anyone. But anyway, so time went by. She got about an hour and a half sleep on me. I got in one of the beds with her and she slept on me. She kept waking up in a complete panic. Then finally got an antibiotic in her and she didn't throw it up, which was huge, 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 huge. Then I got some ibuprofen in her and she didn't throw that up. Then she had maybe 3 sips of water, and then I looked in her nappy and she'd finally done, I could tell she'd done 1 wee, because she definitely hadn't weed for about 2 days either, which is obviously dehydration, and she hadn't done number 2 in 4 days. And in total it was 4 days without doing number 2, because they had seen that she had done a wee, and because they had seen that she had a little bit of water. They said, right, go home and here's your kind of ticket effectively to come back and come straight upstairs within 3 days if you need to, because we had gone from A&E up to pediatrics department, and they were going to put her on an IV. And luckily, because she had that water, they didn't need to, and they're like, right, go home. And I said, because I was saying to her, I was like, listen, she's not going to cooperate now. She is exhausted. She hasn't slept in 2 nights. She is starving, she's thirsty, she feels like crap, all of this stuff. But she is much more likely to have some water and maybe have a bit of milk now that she's had some of the antibiotics from home, rather than she would have food or water from hospital, because she doesn't trust anyone, because everyone's coming at her with different syringes and she doesn't know who to trust. So then we came home. Unfortunately, as soon as we got home, she threw up, and then she threw up again. She then fell asleep for 2 hours, which was brilliant. But then she woke up and she went literally like hysterical. Like, she was crying and crying. Her eyes weren't focusing. She kept throwing her head back. She wouldn't stay in my arms, but on the floor she kept like throwing herself into like the wall. She didn't hit herself or hurt her head, because that was obviously my biggest fear. But it was like that. It was as if she was possessed, and it wasn't funny. It wasn't a joke. It was terrifying. And I think what happened is, we've Googled it and we've spoken to a friend who's a doctor, and when their temperature is high and then it's coming down, it can make them have some hysteria. It can make them go hysterical. Anyway, so that's exactly what happened, and it was about 45 minutes before we got any kind of calmness out of her, and I just started singing and singing and singing to her, and then she fell asleep. After about an hour, then she could see sense basically, and she wasn't hysterical, thank God. And then since then we've just been little bits of water, little bit of milk, a little bit of yogurt. Interestingly, the biggest thing that she's eaten is a bit of Cheerios. So dry Cheerios. So anyway, that's where we're up to. But on a lighter note, I'm going to see another house now, second viewing in 1 day, and there's also another house we like. So we're going to have a house sorted by the end of next week, I think, which is brilliant news. But yes, it has been a hell of a week. Wow, it has been an intense week. It really makes you think. Like, I'm already full of gratitude on the day-to-day, but more than ever, you appreciate when the day is good, when the day is calm and Essie's just playing, and yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna go into this house viewing now, and I will catch up with you guys in the morning. Hello team, I hope you're all good today. I'm going to try and speak quietly because little Etta is over by her play kitchen, just having the time of her life, and I don't want to disturb her. That's something that I learned from reading from one of the books that I was reading when she was in my tummy, is when they're concentrating on something, if you interrupt that concentration, then you're affecting their attention span. So uninterrupted focus is a really important thing to do and action and allow for your baby, toddler, etc. I think even for adults, to be honest with you. So I love it when I can see that she's concentrating and she's in the zone and she's focused on something, whether it's a book, finding a certain toy that she wants to play with, or right now I got her this like puzzle, and there's like a picture of a cow, picture of a chicken, picture of a horse, etc. And then there's like a figurine as well to put on top of the picture of it, so kind of like linking them together. So she's doing that right now on her little kitchen worktop, and it's so cute. She's such a good girl. She is I want to say completely better from her horrible week. Obviously spending the night in hospital and all that came with that. Thank you for letting me confide in you guys and kind of rant about what happened, because knocks you off your feet, definitely. And for me, it's not about me, it doesn't matter, all that matters is her health. But I will say that for the mother especially, it's exhausting in every way you can imagine. Physically, because you're not sleeping, emotionally because you're terrified, and mentally because you're kind of battling that sleep deprivation and how that can play tricks with you. So yeah, I'm just glad that she's better now. She was in nursery yesterday and she had a wonderful day, and the only thing is today so far she's meant to be napping right now, but she's not, so I'm gonna have to try again in half an hour. I'm speaking a little bit funny because I've got the top of my Invisalign in, not the bottom, and I'm about to tell you why. The top is in because I'm still doing the whitening on the top to match the bottom, because yesterday I finally got the final piece of the puzzle, which is the bonding on the bottom 4 teeth. So you need to see. So ignore the difference in colour, because like I said, I've got my actual Invisalign tray on the top, so it's going to look a completely different colour. But yeah, I went for a whiter colour because I do want to continue with the top part whitening. Let me show you my actual before and after. So I've just made this little collage. I think it's amazing, personally. For anyone who's considering Invisalign, so the top one is before, and like I said before, I didn't even think that I had bad teeth, nor did anyone ever say, oh, you need to get your teeth, you know, there was no, but I myself had the insecurity, so I wanted to do it, and I really saved up for it. And then the bottom is the after, so this is after Invisalign, after the bonding on the bottom 4, and I've had the top ones shaved down to all be kind of a closer length together, because the top, so the before, the top 2 teeth were a lot longer. Anyway, so anyone who is looking to do Invisalign and quite tempted, hopefully that gives you a little bit of an indication of what might be to come, and that it is worth the money. I think it's worth the money, and I don't have an income right now, so for me to have figured out a way to do that is a big deal. And I know it's a privilege, but it's also a big deal. I didn't, you know, this wasn't like a disposable income situation, so I do think it's worth the investment. So anyway, in other news, I have not inserted footage of our house viewings like I said I was going to do, because GDPR and privacy, I just actually don't think it's the right thing to do. But what I will say is we have been accepted for the house that we want. It's not terribly far away from where we currently are, which is wonderful, because we can keep our setup, you know, GP, vets, all that kind of, you know, admin, home admin. But it's a beautiful house. It is a beautiful house. It reminds me of, you know, in The Holiday, when Amanda goes in the gate to Jude Law's house. It reminds me of his house. So it's smaller than this, but this house is big and ugly. As ungrateful as that sounds, it is. It's not an attractive house, but it's big. It's 6 bedrooms. But to be honest with you, it's been good for us to be in a bigger house, because that's what we thought we'd want. But actually, we don't use half of it. Like, we don't use the top floor. So it's very silly to have this amount of space. And all that happens is I have to clean it. And that is knackering. So we only have 2 weeks left in the UK, then we're going abroad for Christmas, which my family and we're always away, and then as soon as we get back we're moving, which is so exciting. I just cannot wait. My favourite part about this house is the garden. There's like a full play area that they've done for their daughter that Etta is going to freak out when she sees it. Anyway, so much fun to come. And what we're going to do is we're going to rent this for a long time. Uh-oh! You okay? Cow. For a long period of time. No more of these little kind of short-term leases. And we may even end up buying this house that we're renting, because for reasons that I'm not going to necessarily say, because it's kind of the business of the owners, and it's nobody else's business really. But But yeah, there might be an opportunity to in 2 years time, so we're going to rent it for 2 years, so really settle in. I'm just so excited. I am going to put my little stamp on it as I do. But yeah, we've got an incredibly exciting few weeks to come, and I cannot wait to take you guys along with me. And are you okay, baby? Yep. And to celebrate, I thought we could kind of put a jumper on and go into Stowe on the Wold and just have a look at the Christmassy bits and all the shops. I love shopping in Stowe. I think it is one of the nicest places because you've got a real mix of interior design shops, antique shops and clothes shops. And so yeah, come with us for a Christmassy browse in Stowe on the Wold.